Afreximbank TV.
Dollar, dollar bill, yo.
See, I'ma tell you, like who told me, cash rules everything around me, singing dollar, dollar bill, yo.
Dollar, dollar.
Dollar, dollar. Hey,
And that is exactly what we're here to talk about.
Hey, let's go.
Afreximbank and
That's
how
right.
it's investing in the Global Africa Initiative and with global partners and different levels,
Yes.
including entertainment. And so we're so thrilled
Yes.
to have in studio at Afreximbank TV, Wyclef Jean. which
Yes, how are you?
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be seated next to you.
I'm excited to be here too. You know, like for me, it's very exciting because the best way I could explain it, think about it. Somebody invested in the Fugees, right? And then somebody was like, oh, by the way, Clef, there's 4 girls. We want you to see them in a hotel, and they sing. And then that's Destiny Child. Now I invest in time in Destiny Child to do the song. Then that's Beyonce, right? Then you could be like, oh, then this is Shakira. We could keep going from music to science to tech. So here we are today where Africa has decided like, yo, we're going to invest in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
right? And then so for me as a Caribbean man, this is insanely exciting because when you listen to my music, whether you singing Sweetest Girl or you singing Diallo Diallo,
Yeah.
there's always a connection. Like I've always panned Africa with the Caribbean as one, and so literally it just feels like our big brother and sister are coming saying, okay, we know y'all got here and we're gonna hold y'all down.
And it's like finally, right? Because this is something that you've started, as you just mentioned, and so it's really awesome to see that. How do you see just furthering these investments in terms of expanding creatives in the Caribbean and connecting with Africa?
I think one of the most important thing is, I'm gonna say this word, data mining. So what I want you to think is how many movies are being produced, right? How many pieces of content are being produced. So within that concept, we have Instagram, we have Hulu, I'm giving you an example, we have Netflix, but even if we can start to name a few African streaming services, right? But when you look at the data compared, as we move towards the future, we have to put all of our forces together. So when the Caribbean unite with Africa, we can now have 10 Amazons, we can have 10 Netflix, we can have 10 Hulus, we can now control more IPs, we can turn young kids to millionaires because it's not just fly by night, right? Because they're vested in businesses that's gonna turn into capital for them later. So we're also excited about that. And you have to understand, we can't just talk about music, movies without talking about the technology, right? Investment in technology is one of the most important things, right? We all have a smartphone in our hands, but I think like a lot of that coding as we move towards the future, I want to see like more kids building their own PlayStation games and turning it around and selling them. This is the era that we're in, and this is why I'm excited about this union with Africa and the Caribbean.
Are there any things that you're working on that supports this idea? Because you mentioned a couple of things, but are there any specific things that you're working on?
Yeah,
that
definitely. I have one big thing that I'm working on where it's the Caribbean and African Amazon.
Okay,
like
tell us.
of the future.
Tell us
because,
about it.
you know, through digital, you know, we're building a digital platform, and through digital, we're making it easier for you to transport goods through the seas, you know, because we feel like a lot of what's missing is assets of tech information on how goods moves around, right? So I think like Amazon has an amazing system. That's how they move around. In terms of music, we build a company called Soto Mood Lab. Y'all gonna love this. So I represent composers around the world, right? I want to get to hundreds and thousands of composers. Now, how does that work? It's very private. So think about, let's just start with Nigeria, right? So by way of Haiti, then we're going to go to the Caribbean. So in Nigeria, you have a young kid, he's 13. Guess what? He ain't trying to be a Wyclef. He don't want to be a Burna Boy. He want to be Jan Zimmer. He feels like he can score music for the Oscars. He feel like he could compete in that world. So he should not be pressured to have to do, if he wants to play his violin, he should play his violin. So automatically with this platform, he gets music. Say like if Mission Impossible is doing a car chase scene, he gets it, he opens his app, he sees the scene. And now he's scoring the music for the scene. He uploads it into the platform. Now, someone in Hollywood who's a music supervisor, he go, Africa, Nigeria, 14-year, and he taps it, car chase scene. Boom. This scene comes up, and guess what? He gets a check for that. So this is called scoring. When you're scoring a film, you're playing with the emotion of the individual. Mm-hmm. So if the danger is going to happen, the score lets you know the danger is going to happen before it happens. This is very scientific. And I want to see more kids of color playing in this game. It's very important. This is like when they say Tiger puts on the golf jacket, you know what I'm saying? And then they make a big thing out of it because they say a lot of us can't get in that sport. We can score Superman. Mm-hmm. We can score Avengers, right? We could turn around and score the Butlers. We can score Wakanda. But versus us hurraying for Wakanda, I think if we put all of our forces together, we can produce 20 Wakandas a year. You know what I'm saying to you? So this is some of the future that we're focused on. So Soto Mood Lab is a technology lab which will be developing different parts of technology. Yeah. Give you a few.
What are the kind of sort of mechanisms that you think are needed to enable that kind of framework?
Oh, for the youth?
Yeah, for your program exactly. What are some of the challenges? What would need to be put in place to make it a reality? Because, I mean, yeah, you're doing your stuff, but there's also an enabling environment around it for it to thrive.
Well, that's a good question. We're 3 years in and we have proof of concept. So it's not just me on the format. So just say, let me use you as a proof of concept. So we have someone that is already like you that's on the platform and has done a song from Paris that was in a show called The Shah. Right? So at the end of the day, there's nothing the only thing that hinders us now is just scaling, right? Because that's just the problem we have. So we have clients, we've done stuff for Google, we've done stuff for everybody you could think of. Now it's like we have to go from 100 to 200 composers to 10,000 composers. So the problem that I'm running into now is having to scale this thing bigger.
And that's why the bank is here. Are you exploring the potential of
Yeah, I'm exploring.
Collaboration in that area?
Yeah, but again, exploring that possibility, the Soto is a small idea. You see, when you built your own Amazon, right, that component I tell you is like Amazon Music. So Soto is like Soto Music. But the overall that interests me here is how do we work on trade? You know what I mean? Like goods, like back and forth from the Caribbean to the islands. How do we now create our own Amazon? You see, because when we do that, remember Jeff Bezos, shout out to Jeff Bezos, and I'm inspired by that fact, right? Because it didn't start off like a music company. It didn't start off with Amazon Film. It started off with the idea of organization of data. So when I'm looking at it, why can't, you know, we have small companies that do it. Like you have Nigeria, you have small companies in the Caribbean that do it. But I'm saying put our forces together, study the data of what they're doing, and say, you know, we need our own digital trade.
Yeah, I mean, there's power in unity, and that's been the message throughout the course of these last 3 days. So thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much.
Awesome, and we look forward to an exciting show tonight.
The show is going to be amazing. But let me ask you a question. So I am running, I have a little problem. So I'm going to be opening in the next 2 years. It's called the WJ Carnival. It's a place of discovery where you're going to discover insane talent, right? But it's also a place of, think of like, let's take Erykah Badu. So if Erykah Badu is to ever perform in this place, the food would be the menu of Erykah Badu. The music would be, so it would be super fans. Whether if it's Burna Boy, whether if it's Wayne, I could keep going. I don't know which island to put this on first. So I'm having a problem because I don't know what island to start it, right? Because what it is like you need the carnival to grow from, because I feel like every year, like we have these big carnivals in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
but I think like Carnival can be a destination spot, right? Then I want to build like a hotel suites with the same theme as Carnival. So I think like what happens is I want to give people the Carnival experience 24/7. So I have a lot of people fighting saying, come put this here, come put, you know what I mean? So
Well,
that excites me.
You're in the right place, and you
Yeah.
can have those conversations with the folks who are here, because there are tons of leaders here.
Yeah. But now I'm talking to the audience, because I'm talking like Jamaica, like bring it here. Barbados, like nah, bring it here. You feel me?
I hear you.
Cuba, like yo, bring it here.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, love.
All right, this
Good.